Hi, and welcome to OwnerRez. This video in the Setup Checklist series will walk you through the process of adding taxes to your vacation rental property. Please note that OwnerRez does not remit any taxes on your behalf, open any accounts with tax agencies, or make any tax filings for you. Contact your local taxing authority or state province Department of Revenue to find out the exact percentage required to collect. It is also important to configure each taxing authority separately inside of OwnerRez. For example, create one 7% state tax and a separate 3% city tax. If you combine them, you won't be able to separately apply criteria to them later on. Even if both taxes are treated the same now, this may change in the future, so it's best to be prepared. The simplest scenario is to create a tax within OwnerRez that is remitted for all bookings regardless of the channel. To do this, start by selecting Settings on the bottom far left of your menu bar. Next, navigate to Pricing and select Taxes. From the Taxes page, select Create Tax to start entering in your information. In the description field, enter a description that will help you identify this tax later on. For this example, I'll select NC State Tax. Next is Rate. In the Rate field, enter whether or not this is calculated as a percent, fixed amount per stay, fixed amount per night, per guest, or per night and guest. If the tax rate changes in the middle of the stay, you can click on the Add Effective Date button here to select a date and the rate change below. Next, I'll go ahead and add a rate for this NC state tax as 8%. Next up is Channels. In this example, you can leave the default selections. Book date as in the beginning and applicability set to all. Next is Criteria. In Criteria, you can select which of your properties this tax applies to, a maximum night, applicable nights, an end date, and then select whether or not this tax still applies if the booking is canceled. If you intend for Airbnb to collect this tax on your behalf, carefully fill out the entire registration section here. If you do not fill out this entire section, Airbnb will overlook this tax. Next, if you have our premium property management feature enabled in your OwnerRez account, you will see a section here called Expense. This is where you can configure how the tax will be displayed and from which account it will be deducted as an expense. Lastly, we have Options. Here you can enter a value that will determine how the tax line items are ordered in the charges breakdown presented to the guest. For this example, we'll just select 1. Select whether this is active or not, and once you've configured all of your settings, go ahead and select the Save button below. There are several different common tax scenarios that vacation rental operators will experience. Here are just a few. First, the tax needs to be remitted for direct bookings, but not Airbnb or Vrbo. If Airbnb or Vrbo or any other channels you have connected are remitting the tax in your area, you can set the applicability setting in the channel section to everything but the channels that remit the tax. To do so, just select the tax that you've already created, scroll down to Channels, and under Applicability, you can go ahead and select Everything But and include the channels that are already remitting the tax. Next, another common scenario is the tax needs to be remitted for direct bookings in Vrbo, but not Airbnb. Similar to before, all you'll do is go down to Channels, go to Applicability, select Everything But, and select Airbnb. Another scenario is the need to change which channels that a tax is collected for. If the tax applicability per channel changes over time, you can select Add Effective Date here with different applicability settings in the channel section. Lastly, there are changing tax rates. As tax rates change over time, you can add a new effective date and rate in the rate section. Once you've configured all your taxes, you want to closely watch your bookings from all the channels to make sure everything looks right, and consistently remit the collected taxes to the proper authorities per their required schedule. For more information on taxes, visit us at ownerrez.com/support/articles/taxes. And once you're finished, please continue on to the next video in the setup checklist, travel insurance. Thanks for choosing OwnerRez.